Melissa Butler. I am the founder and CEO of The Lip Bar. The Lip Bar is the largest Black-owned makeup company sold in Target, and so I wanted to get on here and address a lot of the conversation that's been happening. I've made a couple videos already. Um, Obviously, we are disappointed with Target. We have expressed that to Target. I'm not just on here making videos and not saying anything to them. That would be outrageous. Um, yeah, we're upset. And so, as much as y'all are upset, think about how upset the brand founders are
We're
who
not
were
upset.
blindsided. Think about the fact that we are actually in business with them. Like, nope, that's not crossing anybody's mind. Like, yeah, you buy there and you love Target and you love Target and all those things, but we are actually in business. So, however disappointed you feel, know that we are probably more disappointed. I also see that there are a lot of people saying like,
Hold on, I'm gonna stop her real quick. What's interesting when she says we are upset and we have to continue doing business there at Target. Why are you upset in the sense that this is your business partner? So they change some of their policies and that makes you go out here on the internet, social media and say you're upset about this. Like it just sounds like she's kind of pandering, trying to tell people, let them know, like, hey, I'm on your side, but because they cut the checks, as we get further in the videos, because they cut the checks, they're our platform to, sell our product. We have to say we're upset. Like, I think that's kind of messed up. I think that's speaking on both sides of your mouth, honestly.
I mean, what she's doing ain't much different than what the NFL does. If you are running a business, you have to maintain a position of neutrality. You have to fence it. We've seen your favorite line is "Go woke, go broke." So we know if you go that route, you're going to suffer. If you go too far the other direction, you're going
Mhm.
to suffer too. So the best way to get your bag is don't piss anybody off. I'm more so looking at it like, let me start with DEI first, because it's never made sense to me. And I keep asking people, maybe somebody in the comments can put me on game. What am I missing with DEI? Because all I have is anecdotal experience. I have DEI experience with four different corporations, two in the United States and two foreign entities, but the DEI message is all the same.
Right.
They basically told me, face to my face, by the way, we want your black face on this committee, but right now we're only focusing on women and non binary and LGBT. And again, my response to that is, you don't need me then. Why? It's unnecessary to me. So
For a while.
who's benefiting from this? I'm gonna talk about that in just a second because I got an article to support it. But going back to Target, my issue, and I love us black people, I swear I do, but you've heard the expression, y'all playing checkers and they playing chess. I'm here to tell you, we're playing shoots and ladders while they're playing chess.
Yeah.
Look, I just posted an article, TR, and you can see Target tried to make it right with black people a couple years ago when they fumbled the Juneteenth bag. And how did they make it right? They went out and they got 30 different black owned companies whose products that they're pushing now. So you mean to tell me that you're going to punish these black entrepreneurs who are probably hiring black and promoting black all for the sake of DEI, which quite frankly, I'm going to show you later that black folks don't even benefit off of DEI. To me, this is ridiculous and it's a misdirection. If you want to command respect from people, because let's be honest, I don't care if anybody likes us or not. The thing that matters is can you get stuff done and are you respected? You need money to get stuff done and you need a
Mhm.
code. We have neither, but then when we get people that are trying to do that, we do stuff like this and shoot them in the foot.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up that. While I'm pulling it up, let me go back to the video.
it's wrong for brand founders to keep asking people to shop in Target. I don't know what everybody else is doing, but I know that me, Melissa Butler of the Lip Bar, we have not asked y'all to do that. So y'all don't get to just say that. Y'all don't get to just make up stuff. I literally have not said you still should shop at Target. I didn't say that. All I did was, in fact, I told you that there will be consequences to the small business owners in Target. That doesn't mean that you have to still shop at Target. Don't shop at Target. Fine.
She's
Literally.
as much as Melissa, she's doing a good job of trying to explain, when you want to boycott, you're going to hurt these businesses, but she's also doing a disservice because she's, even though she's not telling you directly to not shop at Target, she's still casting a negative attitude towards Target. Like, she's telling people that, hey, I didn't say it specifically. And then another issue is you have a lot of people that have stepped in. Pastor Jamal Bryant, Reverend Al Sharpton have gone out and said, hey, we need to do some type of boycott towards Target. These are the two. These are the, and it's not just those two. There are other people out there saying like, "Hey, we need to start doing boycotts." So even though she's trying to say, she's not out there saying it. She's not. She's trying to help it, but I don't think she's really helping. This video, I mean, it went somewhat viral, but from all the places that I normally get my news from, they're not really covering her conversation, honestly. And so you have these news outlets that they want to talk about DEI and also with what relates to Black people, but yet they're not covering stories like this. They never actually cover any stories when it comes to again, I think she's right, but she's right for the wrong reasons. But they never cover stories like this. So there's probably, and I could probably tell you what the reason is, but I think most people do.
Yeah, I know you couldn't pull up the article, but let me just read some of these black brands that you are turning your back on with this Target protest. Scotch Porter, TGIN, Kinky Curly, Camille Rose, Black Opal Beauty, Minted Cosmetics. There's 30
There
different.
it
Oh,
is.
the Lip Bar. The Lip Bar is one of the ones listed here.
Mhm.
There are 30 different black owned companies. And this is important because the way we do skin is different, the way we do hair is different, and to an extent, the
There's
way
a
that
need
we,
for it. Yes,
yeah,
there's a market
it's a
for it.
niche market, yes.
Yeah.
So I say all this to say you're hurting more than you're helping with this. Now, let's take this a step further. We just saw the brands that Target is pushing, but I want to take the focus back on DI real quick. We like to post articles to substantiate what we say. I just posted another article, Forbes magazine. I like to go to Forbes because I find them to be unbiased. DEI isn't really a business priority. I'm just going to read a couple
Wait,
of
hold on, hold
statistics
on,
here. Yeah.
hold on. What? Cards for all people?
Oh yeah, I actually have that game. It's a black based trivia game that people can play. It's
Oh,
pretty fun, but if you're a white person and you ain't tapped in with black folks like that, you're not gonna score a lot of points
I
in that game.
I
Let's just be
bet.
honest. It's
I
pretty fun to
didn't.
play though.
I mean, I bet it is though, but I didn't even know they had something like this. And I mean, I don't play
Yeah.
too many, board games, having too many game nights, anyways. But I almost feel like with something a little specific to, Black people where they have to get around together, that might be that's a very small crowd because they have to find your cards, and I rarely look at cards, especially like I'm not going to Target for board games or anything like that, but especially for adult games as well either. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people are actually finding stuff like this. I mean, besides you know anyone else that plays this card game?
Again, my circle is a little bit different, so I know quite a few people that are familiar with it. But generally speaking, the public
Mhm.
probably doesn't know much about it, and that's a marketing issue.
Yeah. Now I do have niece that they do have some of these dolls. So and that definitely hits everybody. Like you got a daughter, niece, or whatever. Yeah, they're definitely have a little bit of daughters, and there's definitely a marketing play right there or ploy right there because not everybody wants the Barbie, or I guess really the Barbie or some of these American Doll girls that are Caucasian, and then hey, let's have a black doll or a doll that somewhat looks like us or whatever the case is.
Quick pivot because you talked about this dial and representation a little bit. A
Mhm.
quick story for me. So my last employer, not my current, but my last one was
Oh, this is
a
actually pretty cool.
yeah, yeah, that is. Remember when the Little Mermaid came out and everybody was freaking out because they made Ariel a black woman?
Yeah.
Well, one of my coworkers is a redhead, like pure redhead, and we were talking about that. She's one of the white people
Wait,
that
a
I can
black
have.
redhead or a white
No,
redhead?
no, she's a white redhead,
Got it.
straight pure Irish, living in the states now. We're talking about this, and she told me, and I this has stuck with me to this day. She said Ariel being a redhead was important to me because when I was younger and growing up, there was like misconceptions associated with redheads. about certain things about pain tolerances and witchcraft and beauty
Hmm.
standards and things like that. So she made the statement to me that I can't let that go because Ariel was a positive representation of us. So every time you do these pander things like DEIs or pandering in movies and in media, you're taking something away from somebody else. So
Yeah.
it's not really making things balanced or equitable. But going back to Forbes, like I said, I roll with Forbes because they're pretty unbiased. They did a study. The article's right there, TR. 804 HR professionals. And here were some of the observations that they took away. Only 12% of companies hold managers responsible for recruiting diverse candidates.
Hey, MC, real quick, just a quick point out. This
Yeah,
article was in 2022. For some people that, might think that DI just hasn't been a problem, that's a lie. And even before 2022 was a problem, but just want to call out the date.
yeah. 75% of companies do not have DEI included in their company's leadership or development. It's treated as a compliance issue.
Hmm.
32% of companies mandate any form of DEI training for employees, and only 34% offers such training. 22% of companies believe they are recognized by their employees, customers, or suppliers as leaders in DEI. So here's some substantiation for you, but ultimately, let's get to the bottom line. Guess who benefits the most from DEI?
Wait.
White. Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah.
Hold on. Who I see champion the most? A lot of black women and a lot of black men champion the most for DEI. So it has to be one of those two, right?
No. So see, we don't do with feel good stuff on the Black Phoenix podcast. We deal with results. Who
Yep.
has benefited the most from DEI, ladies and gentlemen? The answer is white women. The
Yep.
same white women that benefited from feminism more than you did, the same ones that benefited from affirmative action more than you did.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you, we're being played again. We're worried about the wrong things. Get the bag, lift your fellow people up, and that's how you get equity in the game. We're over worrying about what other people think about us. You are smart enough, you are good enough. Go out there and get the bag.
Yeah, and you bring up such a strong point too when it comes to how let me go back here, how the feminism racket has been sold to black women, as well as I forgot the second thing you said though, but in relates to like DEI, here we are again using black faces to push a lot of liberal agendas because in order for people to want to listen, most cases you want to send a black woman to for them to listen to you, and sometimes you can send a black man. But what I've been seeing lately from the liberal side is they've been sending women, and specifically black women, i.e. Jasmine Crockett, because she's been trending all over the place, and she's getting a lot of people riled up. Where she works in the Congress, so if she wants to do something, she needs to work with her contemporaries. But she can't do anything because she's alienating the folks that she needs to work with. They're never going to work with her. And then we have a lot of people that are in the Congress that are, uh, when it comes to like working and trying to like, hey, let's do what's in the best interest of American people. We can't do that now. And I'm not going to say it's just only on Jasmine Crockett's side because there's definitely been a lot of smoke on the other side. But the person that the media has been loving, their darlings, has been Jasmine Crockett and AOC, and they have an assortment of issues, and they do not do anything to like help assist with reaching across the aisle, as well as the constituents or really Americans as a whole. They might look out for their constituents, but they're not looking out for Americans as a whole. You need to do what's in the best interest of black people, or not black people, but U.S. citizens. But they specifically use black people to push their narrative, their agenda, even with the Fannie Willises of the world, where they used her to go after Trump, and we watched how look how that worked out.
Yeah, and the McKinsey Corporation, I've talked about them before too. They do pretty good research too. Has constantly identified black consumer loyalty. And they actually estimate that the black American dollar will be worth 300 billion probably within the next couple of years,
Oh yeah, we
right?
got the money. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. We have the money, we just don't have the plan. Every time I look at somebody complaining about DEI or race, I see them as somebody begging people who don't want to accept them to accept them. And my thing is,
Hmm.
they've already decided if they're going to accept you or not. If they do, cool. If they don't, Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. You have the resources to get this bag. Stop
Yep.
playing. Stop
And
complaining.
I will say this, and this is kind of to your point earlier, where who does DEI help the most? And it's generally white women. And then if I go further down that list, I'd probably say the LGBT, and then you get to black women and black men. Now, and I separate the black men and black women because when I look at that list, I was actually surprised with some of that stuff that's on there. Some of that stuff does look interesting. And now that I'm gonna have a better awareness, I can definitely take a look at it. But the other thing is, most of that stuff is actually maybe I don't know who created all that stuff, but it definitely has a woman's touch. So men, I don't know what you're doing, but you're getting left behind on well, the DI the scam is already over. So if you didn't get a chance to cash in on it, it's probably too late though. So
Yeah, and I'm gonna just end on this. The reason why I'm not freaking out about this, there's two types of people when you run across animosity. There's the ones that are gonna push through,
mhm.
like me. I'm gonna be okay. No matter what happens, I'm gonna be fine. And then there's the victims, and the victims don't get stuff done. So
Nope.
which one are you? That's what you got to ask yourself.
Facts.
Don't do it. Like, we have created distribution channels for ourselves to support ourselves. We have our website, we have a store in the heart of downtown Detroit. Like, I understand we are all disappointed and we are all still waiting for answers. Been in store, you should just leave Target. That's unfortunately that's not how it works. If we decided to leave Target just today, just to walk away, we would have millions of dollars that we would have to pay them. That will bankrupt us.
Also, this is a great point by Melissa because it highlights the education or the lack of education when it comes to like working with some of these businesses. She's absolutely right. They're going to be bankrupt. They have all that inventory that they cannot move. They have all these commitments, and for them to be like, "Hey, I don't like how you guys did something, so we're going to just walk away." Well, you can walk away, but you're going to have to either sell your brand to us, or you have to cut us a check for what we've already spent to help promote your brand. And this is a conversation why a lot of these companies and some of these universities are getting out of the DEI business because they know, again, Melissa, she's laying out I feel like a case that most people would understand where she's coming from. Again, I think she's right, but just for the wrong reasons. But she's telling people about the whole DEI thing, but if you start going down the route of with DEI, it's going to end in a lawsuit. Target is getting sued by their shareholders. I'll try to find the article, but they're being sued by their shareholders on the conversation that DEI carries a lot of risks. And we're not talking about like, risks as in, we're gonna, people on the quote unquote right are going to be upset with the business. No, they're talking about when DEI goes wrong because of what they're doing with this whole DEI stuff. They're getting a lawsuit because the shareholders have lost money. And if you remember, they lost money, I want to say last year, over the swimwear that they had for boys, the swimsuits they
Yeah,
had for boys, the tuck friendly swimsuits. Again, pause. So this is the risk that a lot of these companies are like, you know what? We're getting out of the business, Amazon's, the Walmarts, and we're getting out of the business, and we do not want to be involved with like any of these DEI things. Everything's gonna be based on merit. And Melissa she does have a good conversation on what's going on behind the scenes. But for it, as in the Black community, we're too emotional about this stuff, like way too emotional. And I probably would say other communities too, because whenever somebody does something you don't like, people like lose their mind, especially over like the I forgot the chick that was singing at the White House inauguration. But whatever her name is, but people lost their minds over stuff like that though. So and they tried to cancel her, but they couldn't cancel. She was a country singer. But with Melissa Butler, I mean, she's out there trying to have the conversation, and for the most part, from what I can see, is that she's not getting dragged in the comments or anything. But again, it's just it speaks to like the lack of knowledge that we have as a community when it comes to like how businesses really work. And it's not just like, hey, you just pull things out. No, there'll be consequences that nobody that's telling her to do any of this stuff is going to show up and help.
yeah, Man, we just got our priorities wrong. Look, Target. My wife wrote a children's book, and Target decided to list it. They were running a program where they were actively looking for black women who are entrepreneurs and putting on their products.
Hmm.
And then you turn around and do this. I care about the results. There's a lot of black authors on Target's website. As a matter of fact, Walmart picked up my wife's book too, and these are the ones that were talking about boycotting, and they're openly trying to put money in our pockets. Like
Yeah.
it don't make sense to me. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
And, honestly, what Target should have just done is like, look, we want to get more inventory in our stores. We want to get a diversity of product. I hate saying diversity because then you already know what that means. But whatever it is, like you see a need, there's an opportunity for you to make money off of it. Then just say that. Keep it just to that. And then you have a board or whatever review which products or however you do all the other products. But they specifically had to go down the whole DEI route and it blew up in their faces. Let me see if I can find that story with Al Sharpton because I think we pretty much have cooked the Melissa's conversation. Al Sharpton is another one where he is leading the grab your torches and pitchforks towards Target. Al Sharpton has been a race hustler for as long as I can remember. And it wasn't until until some in the last several years when I realized that Al Sharpton was a straight up charlatan when it comes to helping the black community. He's more or less like someone that will strong arm these companies into donating to his nonprofit organization or doing something that appears like he's working with them, but he really isn't working with them.
Yeah, I know Al Sharpton's been controversial for a lot of people. I see some value in some of the things that he does because at the end of the day, you do need people who can stir the pot. I sometimes question if he's over benefited from black pain. But that's a different conversation for a different day. I'm not going to completely ignore all his contributions, but lately he's been off. He's off here. So is Jamal Bryant. They're all off to me right now, and
Yep,
I think they're out of touch too.
way out of touch. This is wild. Man. And so, just to give some background on this, Al Sharpton is doing a reverse boycott by giving a bunch of like I don't even feel black people were there, but he gave them all $100, and he had a brief speech on why they want to continue doing business at Costco, which this is the most I've ever seen any black people at Costco. Whenever I've been at Costco, I don't see that many black people. I mainly see white people. I see a lot of Indians, but I don't see a lot of black people there. I mean, they're definitely there, but I just don't see as many as I do at this at Costco locations. Now, what's interesting about this whole thing with Al Sharpton is that he's telling people to quit or to not shop at these businesses. Al Sharpton still sells his books at Target and on Amazon. That's the conversation I don't understand why people are not even having. Like, why would you listen to Al Sharpton on this particular matter when he still has not pulled any of his books from the Target website? That's the thing that's most puzzling to me, and why people still listen to him is a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, look, I think we beat this as much as we're going to beat it. Pause, but again, the focus should be if you're going to follow a celebrity, follow Ice Cube. I mean, he's at least he's getting out here getting tangible results. This is all just wordplay and playing with people's emotions. You're never going to top somebody who locked in a $100 million deal for black vendors with the NFL. You're not going to top that, Reverend. Now,
Right.
sorry, you're not.
Yeah. There he is, still selling his book. You can get it for like $12 if you wanted to. So, food for thought. This is whenever wherever these folks are telling you where to go and how to shop. This is where you need to start looking at the money and how the money impacts them, or if they've donated to them as well too. So,
And again, I'm fine with diversity and inclusion, but it cannot be forced. It has to be organic because all you're going to do is create more tension if you force it.
exactly. All right. Next topic.